What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. And I was really just chilling today, locked in on the event. If you've seen my last video, Now or Never 3 goes down today, brought to you by Street Talk Entertainment. And there's a lot of worthwhile battle rap there. Hollow vs. Chef Trez is the headliner, which is major in my opinion. Then you have Ill Will vs. Cortez, T-Top vs. Fonz, a lot more battles. So I was just waiting on that. Also, I never plug this, but if you go in the description, I always put my Twitter in the description, and I live tweet a lot of events. So if you want to see in the moment, if you're watching as well, what my thoughts are on it, round by round, got my Twitter down there if you want to check that out. But that's pretty much my plan for the day after this, is to watch the event. But a nuclear bomb, a Predator missile, from Call of Duty, landed this morning for me on the West Coast, when URL not only announced Summer Madness 15 is coming, September 21st, not only announced that Summer Madness 15 is going down in London, first time since Summer Madness 8 that they've done that, they also announced what appears to be their main event, which is Loaded Lux versus New Jersey Twork. Just an absolute culture-shifting type of announcement, right? And, coming off of Gnome, which is an event, quality-wise, I was pretty critical of. A lot of people were. I thought that the card, they put together a good card. I think some of the battles and the battlers' performances just didn't execute well enough to have a great event overall. But I thought they put together a good card. But a common complaint, to be fair, was a lack of, pop in the announcements. A lot of, good battles, a lot of, good matchups rapping-wise. But for, a Gnome, and then SM kind of considered that even to a higher level, people wanted something that was culture shifting. And if there's anything that's going to do that, a Loaded Lux battle is a surefire way to get it. Then versus one of the biggest superstars in the world and one of the best in the world right now in New Jersey Twork. What can you say about this one? It's fantastic. It's writing at its highest level. There's going to be a playoff of this stoic energy and presence that Lux has as a battler, where just everyone pays attention to pretty much every move he has when he performs or pretty much even enters the building. And then in New Jersey Twork, who can reach a far higher level of aggression and power level. There's this haymaker machine versus this well-versed legendary pen. There's so many things that go into this matchup, and as they announce more of the card, which I hope complements it well, I'll give more thoughts on a winner, but just this first effect, this is the perfect announcement for URL right now. You land a Lux battle versus your top superstar. People have just complained about bigger battles going on elsewhere. Hitman versus Murmuk, which, Bulletproof lands. Would love more promo for that battle, by the way. I know Hitman's been trying to do his part. Barely have seen anything from Murmuk. I mean, I'm sure that's an expensive battle. There should be more talk about it even a couple months out. But that lands elsewhere. Obviously, a lot of Easy's battles turned into some of the more talked about battles of the year. He's not on URL. So all this is happening. You get back in the mix by saying, well, we have Twork versus Lux. And that's about as important as any battle in battle rap. Obviously, the combined brands of Hitman and Mook is probably a little bigger, but it's of that type of level. And that's just the first announcement. So I think this is a great start to SM15, right? Just to hear about battle-wise. Then you get into the fact it's in London. And that's the thought of Loaded Lux battling in London. It's almost as you know, Marvel fan, obviously, it's multiverse. You just wouldn't think that that's something that would probably ever happen. Lux is going to actually headline Summer Madness in the UK this year, overseas. I'm still trying to grasp it, even though I'm seeing it right here. I think Loaded Lux is Loaded Lux anywhere. I think it's going to be fantastic. And honestly, I think this being in London is going to lead to great crowd energy. For anyone that remembers Summer Madness 8, which I'll probably talk about in a lot in the lead up to this event, because there is battlers that I believe would probably end up on this card who have battled there before from that URL event. The crowd was super duper engaged, and I think especially in the UK, they appreciate battle rap as well. They are very vocal and supportive of their own scene, even after Don't Flop kind of crashed out and it's taken a hit in terms of importance or viewership. But for URL to go over there, obviously that doesn't happen very often. So the people that are going to show up are not just diehards who show up, how they do in New York because that's the home base, or Houston because they love battle rap, one of the better crowds. these people are going to like really savor that moment and be engaged throughout the event. And that's something that matters for the footage of the battle. It matters for, the crowd. You don't want the crowd dead later in the night, or one battle sucks the energy out of the building. These people are so happy to see battle rap. I'm sure they're almost going to be a little bit reacting to everything, you know what I mean? It might even be, some people might even get annoyed by that, but that's the energy. You want genuine excitement around battle rap. So I think London's great. They've been very appreciative of our legends when they go over there, and I wonder if any UK talent might make the card. I'm not expecting it to be, with this climate of UK versus US. I know Joyner Lucas and Skepta are going back and forth. I'm not expecting a ton of UK artists, but maybe you'll see someone like a Gemini, who was on Summer Madness last time it was out there, right? And he's only gotten better, won more championships, and beat other top opponents since then. Bizzo Bond, or what was the just going on with Wody? People saying Bizzo Bond is like the Tay-Rock of the UK. I thought that was insanity, by the way. But I'm not, maybe he opens the card. Who knows? There's new options when you go there. But you're starting out with Twork versus Lux. That's as major as it gets. And then there's the Twork side of this, where, first of all, the timeline of him returning to the UK is crazy. He battles Arsenal at SM8, right? Then there's the whole shoddy horror on him almost battling. It's booked like 2, maybe 3 different times, all the way months lead up, and then he backs out last second, and there's claims of bad business coming from the leagues in the UK, and there's all this backlash, and now boom, Loaded Lux headliner out there. And even with the anger I'm sure some of those fans still feel, I can almost guarantee that building will be sold out. And as I said, happy and engaged fans that want to see it. It's the way it is with superstars in the game, right? But love the matchup, and I love it for Twork's 2025 progression. I think that once again, we're talking about him having one of the best years in battle rap. I believe right now, halfway through the year, we at LTBR did our mid-year rankings, and we had him, I believe it was number 3. We had him at number 2. We had him at the runner-up for the number 1 spot. With Jay the Nightwing being number 1 and Real Deal being number 3. And it's a very good year, but it's a very controversial year, which happens a lot with New Jersey Twork. He's got the Real Deal battles really good. He's got the Kid Slade performance is really good. The Woosah battle is good. Underrated battle for me is Twork versus T-Rex. It went down late on T-Top's league, like basically in the middle of the night. The energy was down, but their material was fantastic. It's actually a really good debatable battle. And he's also no-showed or not been able to show up for a ton of his battles. So you're going to have people that want to hold like moral things against him, but then the in-the-ring rapping is really good, and that's forever going to be a debate. But you add Loaded Lux on top of the resume I just listed with Real Deal, who's having a nearly equally as good year, T-Rex getting those wins versus Kid Slade in like body bag fashion, and then Woosah, who's had a pretty good year of his own. And you're adding big names on top of that. He could get maybe, Bags and Bodies hasn't popped out again for Power Moves 2, which we've heard is going to happen this year. Twork versus Lux is one of the most requested battles for that. They could still turn around and do the Twork and Av matchup. I think it's cursed. We don't know if it will ever happen, but that's still on the board. There's just options out here where you could be talking about maybe the best resume of 2025 if certain things get strung together. And a Loaded Lux battle is one of those big dominoes to fall where if that can get done, almost everything else seems feasible too. And even though there's going to be these debates of Twork's etiquette, like I said, for showing up to battles this year, but when he is showing up to battles, it's very good product and it's very good material. I have him 4-0 across this year, but you can debate the Rex and the Real Deal battle, so it's not like a clear 4-0, but like I said, the material's great, the footage is great more than anything. It's 4 good outings, all positive for his year, and I think he's going to be very locked in for this Lux battle. He has that advantage, like I spoke to a little bit in the beginning of the video, of that performance and that aggression where, versus Mook in New York, right, where it's the most dangerous to take him and the crowd is going to be almost a little adverse to cheer for the opponent. The level he reached in those first 2 rounds, he kind of took the crowd from Murmuk, right? So he definitely in London has the power to do that versus Lux, but you have to look at Lux's most recent battle too. Niti. He got an A+ 100% version of Niti. It is an instant classic battle. Easily won battle of the year. It's one of the best battles of the last 5 years, right? and most people have him winning that battle. I think it's debatable, but if you look at it, the consensus does have Loaded Lux, and it was a masterful performance. There is some, not the same battlers either, same way Lux and Mook aren't the same, Twork and Niti aren't the same, but they're similar type of matchups, right? And he was able to get the best version of that, haymaker heavy, even a bit tailored, and look at what he's able to do there. So I think Lux is a very good shot in this battle. I think Twork is going to go in as the favorite, but there's no shocker of either of them winning this battle. That's what's good about mega matchups like this. It's Titan level matchups. The fandom of both sides is going to say Lux is a way better writer. He's going to wrap circles around him, because Lux definitely has the advantage of just straight rapping ability. So they're going to say there's nothing he can do with him as a rapper. And then on the flip side, people will say Lux can't bring the haymakers that Twork can bring to the table, the energy and performance that he can. That's the mark of really booking a battle that matters, when you have that type of divide within the culture, but it's about rappers. It's about a matchup and who's going to win on September 21st. So I have my predictions for this, and of course the full card once everything's out. Over, a little bit out, whenever they're going to have the full card out. Please, URL, if it's London, don't be announcing the full card 3 weeks out. Give people time to get to this event, right? It is in a whole other country, but hopefully the full card is out soon. I can give you full card predictions, but now, of course, I need to hear your guys' opinions in the comments down below, man. How do you feel about Lux versus Twork? Who do you think is going to win? You can give your early predictions. Maybe I'll give some thoughts on the reasoning in the comments down below. And who else do you want to see on Summer Madness 15, man? But I'm going to go watch this event. So it's been JSmo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Look out for the recap here in the next day or two. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.